Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast. It is Friday. We have got a special treat for everybody tonight. It is an absolute privilege to be here. It's slightly after E3, but guess what? We've got an insider that was our E3 insider that was there. We're going to get to that in a second, but let's get through the intros. And first, I've got the one, the only, a Crap Gamer. Crap, how the hell are you doing tonight?
There we go.
Early. It's going to be early and often tonight, folks. That's for you, Enrique.
I'm trying to stay in the holiday spirit just because it's 100 freaking degrees out, first day of summer. It's going to be a hot one.
I love it.
It's going to be a hot one.
It is hot. It's going to be hot. I got news for you.
I know. I'm in the hot one.
How the hell you doing, Crap?
It's 100 degrees, man. I'm roasting.
Not so good.
No, it's
all right.
not great, but I'm ready to talk some topics, man. I'm happy to be here and entertain the people because that's what's most important. Let's do it.
I appreciate that, Crap. Thank you so much. Then I got Xbot448. Xbot, how the hell are you doing today?
Yo, what's going on, guys? It is good to see some Xbox people out there on Twitter getting really involved in making bread. But on another note, it is the start of the Gamers Weekend. Let's go, people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me take a second here. I do want to let everybody know before we get to our special guest that we have a beloved panel member. He's been with us 2 years, June this month, 2 years full time. And me and Boom had talked about a month ago. He's got so many new ventures coming up that Boom is going to be going from a full-time panel member to kind of a part-time. He's going to be coming on as a guest probably once a month, every so often. We'll get him in there. You guys know him as from Gaming News at Noon, Xbox Factor Podcast, Breakfast with Boom.
Boom, boom, and kaboom with
His new one is going to be Boom Takes Manhattan, Boom Heard Round the World, and don't forget his latest one coming out very soon is Boom, Boom, Boom. Let me hear you say, wayo, wayo. Let me tell you right now, Boom, it is great to have you here. We're going to miss you full time, but buddy, it has been a hell of a 2 weeks for you, and I can't wait to hear every single step you took in California.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say this. Me leaving the show on a permanent basis, I have to throw it out there immediately that 2 years ago, when I reached out to Mooch as a fan, he gave me the podium, so to speak, to get in touch with something that I've always wanted to do. This for right now, I am living the dream. Being a part of this community, being a part of YouTube, being a content creator, being revered as one of the good guys out there is something that I strive each and every time I write up one of these shows. So, obviously, I'm always going to be grateful for the 2 full years of being a part of CrossFire.
Crazy,
podcast.
Isn't it, Boom?
It's unbelievable that it's been so long. But in truth, the reasoning is, my wife, who's very out there with me, she's my number one supporter. Friday nights used to be something that we would do. We would go out to dinner. We'd go out to the movies. We'd just lounge out. And sometimes, most of the time, we'd actually just go shopping upstate. And even though she has never complained about me doing the show, I kind of want to give those Friday nights back to her. So this is really a family-related move more than anything. But first of all, thank you for the outstanding and unbelievable, intro. And I cannot wait to get this party started. It's going to be a good one.
Absolutely, Boom. And then we've got our great guests that are joining us here. I'll start with Enrique from Brap. I got news for you. Enrique, it is hard to get you on the show, but when you are, 2 things, great content and more harmonica, apparently.
Yes. I'm here for the content.
He did.
I did request it. I oh my God. I love it. I love the harmonica. And apparently Xbox can smell my yeast.
Wow.
Hangouts.
What you guys don't know is Enrique's a baker.
He is.
I'm a baker.
I can smell it from here,
Like Seamus
man.
Blackley, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Seamus and I actually have a bake-off.
A bake-off.
Month, yeah.
That's awesome.
I want to taste. I want to try that. Come on.
It's great to have you here tonight, buddy. And then I got my New Yorker from down south. I've got Noximus. Knox, good to have you here, buddy. I know you work on Friday nights, but yet you still get time in for CrossFire because you're dedicated, you're into gaming, and it's wonderful to have you here again.
Absolutely, man. It's great to be here, brother. I love me some CrossFire. This is the shit right here, man. This panel, I love it, man. And I don't know about no yeast and shit. I got some hops and barley right here. Some hops and barley, and you got it in, man. Topics are awesome, man. I can't wait.
Hey, you know what? I got a lot of compliments for Knox on Wednesday night, man. Him and Shady and Mooch and everybody loved that, man. The guy's he's really good at it. You know, you do a good job, man. You're good.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to Shady, man. Shady's a man. Kid.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's fun. That's always the best when people have a slight difference of opinions, but keep it respectful. You know what I mean? Like that's great, man. That's great.
Yeah.
So it makes for a good show.
It does, man. It does.
Absolutely.
You know, but listen, I got news for you. Since we have Boom here, and Boom, we spoke about this 2 weeks before you went to E3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's hear about the whole experience, really. Can you kind of let people know what is it exactly that you do from the morning before you're heading to Fan Fest or you're going down to Xbox Plaza and what that whole thing was kind of like and what the show kind of transpired into?
Okay, well, obviously, the only reason is the Fan Fest. They really went out of their way to try and get as many people in as possible, and unfortunately, I didn't get picked. I didn't get contacted by by the Fans Fest people. I didn't win a ticket. Basically, it was a lottery. Some people got in, some people didn't get in. I was one of the people that didn't get in, and I'm going to be honest with you. I got into pretty much everything. I got into Bethesda, EA Play, Ubisoft, and I used, going in there as press. I used the channel. They did the background check. They liked what they saw, and they approved me. But I could not get into FanFest. And what wound up happening is an amazing community member by the name of Gotham Guy, who tunes into all of my shows, had reached out to me when he won a ticket, and he had offered me his +1. And unfortunately, I didn't see the message until it was too late. So he was like, "Yeah, Boom, I only had 3 hours to find someone. So I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Listen, that's perfectly okay." So what wound up happening, I'm at E3. I'm already flying. We flew in. We're getting ourselves together. I get a message from Gotham Guide, and he tells me, "Hey, listen, my +1 hurt his shoulder in the gym. He can't come. Do you want to go? Would you like to be the +1?" So of course I jumped on it. And the FanFest team, I gotta tell you, they were pretty amazing. He emailed them with all of my information, and within 40 minutes, congratulations, Mr. Boomstick, you won. And wow. I registered. I paid my $45, which that entire $45 gets donated to charity, if you didn't know. And I was in. So we went there the morning of, and then the first person that I meet on the line, who's running up and down, giving high fives to everyone, is AC Bongos. And I got a picture with him. He's an absolute gentleman to talk to.
Absolutely. Really an absolute gentleman to talk to. And then we get into FanFest, right? And of course, they're asking you your sizes, their sizes, because everyone gets like a jersey, like an Xbox jersey. So I got mine. Everyone put it in, and then we went into like the where they were going to just do like a pregame kind of like a rally, and everyone came out. Everybody that's part of Xbox came out and said hello to the crowd, shook hands, took pictures. Phil was there. Aaron Greenberg was there. All of the big executives were there saying hello. Bonnie Ross was there, and then of course we left there, and then FanFest was going to be the next day, but from there we were going into the we were going to go watch the actual show, where they the conference, and there. Man, I got a chance to meet Colt Eastwood. I was sitting next to him and his wife, which was amazing. I talked with Aaron Greenberg for a bit upstage before it started. I got a chance to actually talk with Bonnie Ross. She's a really awesome, nice person to talk to. Very excited about that. The fans are excited for Halo. And then I got to tell you, man, the presentation, the monies that must be spent in the Microsoft Theater to put on this kind of a show was... Oh, it's big bucks, Boom. Dude, it was electric. I mean, it was an unbelievable... Regardless of how anyone felt about the show, whether it was your greatest show on earth or you were disappointed, being there in person, I think there wasn't a hair on an arm that wasn't standing up every time something was announced. Boom, I gotta tell you, let me just put it in perspective to the audience, because I know what you mean by that. I got news for you. I'm a Mets fan, okay? They lose almost every other night, okay? But when you actually go down to Citi Field and you watch the game, even if they lose 9-3, it's still a different experience to see the players run on the field. You see the show. You see things going on between the innings, right? There's the amazing food, the atmosphere. It's the sound, the smell, the feel, the touch, it's everything.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about. So regardless of the show or someone's personal opinion, being there is definitely just an experience, right? That you just can't. I mean, you're doing a great job of putting it into words, to be honest with you. But I mean, what did you think when the show started, right? We're sitting here, we get amped, we get excited, we're watching it on Mixer, okay? What is it that kind of transpired as the show began? Did they do anything to prep the audience? Did they have anybody come out there and kind of get everybody riled up a little bit? Like, did Phil do a little something?
No, actually, the way it started was very off the cuff. It was a countdown from 10 to 0, like you would be in Times Square watching the ball drop. And then it immediately opened up with 4 of the first party games. And it was loud and it was epic. And it was, every time something came up, because, we had no idea. We heard rumors. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't walk away slightly disappointed that we didn't get a Fable teaser. Or that, for instance, like for me personally, not seeing a Killer Instinct there was a bit disappointing because I'm such a fan, and not seeing a Banjo-Kazooie there was also disappointing because Nintendo got that and we didn't. So those are the only, if I had to, nitpick, those are the things that disappointed me. But I'm going to tell you this, as amazing as, and there's one particular instance that when sitting next to Colt Eastwood, and I think he might have told the story. And RDX, we're sitting next to each other, and what looked like it was going to be Alan Wake 2. Like we looked at each other and we both said at the same time, "Holy shit, Alan Wake 2!" And it winds up being, it's still a Microsoft exclusive, which is pretty damn epic. But just every time a new game came on, because you had no idea what was happening, you were sitting at the edge of your seat in excitement. Like, I'm talking about it right now. I'm getting goosebumps from head to toe, and I was there. You know what I'm saying? And I said this in the pregame. I pray and hope that everyone who's a diehard gamer that's in this chat today that will listen to this amazing show on the replay, please, for the love of Jehovah, try to get at least to one E3 in your life. If you are that diehard of, and yes, it is expensive, but if you dole it out, if you save over the year, which is what I did, I saved over the year, it can be affordable. It is an experience unlike anything that you will ever you'll ever see or do. And again, I want to stress, as amazing as the conference was, as absolutely mind-blowing, it's my highlight, the actual fan fest, my God. I mean, listen, you want to talk about being accessible. I've never seen this in any other company, whether it's video games, whether it's the car industry, or whether it's a sports team.
Yep.
The level of accessibility that the fan has in FanFest to these executives, to the developers, to the games, to the hands-on stuff is something of a storybook. Like I said, I missed the opportunity to actually shake Phil's hand. That was on me because I was doing something else. But I met everyone else. I met Rod Ferguson and 4 people from the Gears 5 team. I met 5 people from the Ninja Theory team. It was, and I got autographs. I got pictures. It just was hands. I mean, it's just so epic that where the Microsoft show was, where the conference was, they open that up to the FanFest, people, and you just have free reign. Everything is going on, hands on every game. I got a chance to use Xcloud untethered. I have a video on my channel with King from the
I saw that.
Dude, it ran amazing. And I was talking with the dev, and what he confirmed just blew my mind, that the server that was working the actual device I was using was 338 miles away in San Francisco. When I tell you it was perfect, no clipping, no stuttering. I think the Xcloud thing is actually the real deal.
So I'm glad you said that, to be honest with you, Boom. And the guys on the panel, please, if you do chime in too, I want to kind of ask you, Boom, I kind of want to put you under the hot lamp for a second here. So what was the consensus? I mean, we've all said and spoke our piece over the past 2 weeks. A lot of people were kind of, like you said, I think the show was a good show. I gave it the rating that I gave it. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but that may come off as negative. It's not. But I was kind of hoping we saw a little bit of Gears gameplay. When you were there with the Xbox Fan Fest, which is the diehards, I mean, really, they are the diehards. Was there any talk amongst the hardcore Xbox fans? And they said, geez, I wish I saw a little bit more Halo, or I wish I saw a little bit more Gears. Was any of that brought up amongst the hardcore?
You know what? The consensus was people were excited, pretty happy with the show. But I'm going to tell you this. I think that the major complaint that most people, including myself, had was that we didn't get a chance to see an extended gameplay of the Gears campaign. But with that said, them showing off the escape, on the show, and then having, I mean, everyone could play it. They were, I mean, the line was around the block. People wanting to play this game. I didn't play it, but I did get, they did allow me to do video on it, which is fine because I actually wanted to do video instead of play. I did that with a lot of games because I'm going to play them eventually. I wanted video for the channel and for the fans who couldn't be there. But it looked and ran amazing. That was my only one. I guess you can say it's one of my smaller complaints. I really wanted to see this epic big world, and I am going to tell this, and I said this on one of my shows today. I might even said it twice. I don't even know. But when I got a chance to talk with Rod Ferguson and the team, right? They called me up. They were signing the poster for me. I said, Rod, you did something I've always dreamed of for Gears. You made it open world. And he smiled from ear to ear, and he goes, well, I never said it was open world. I said it's the biggest Gears we've ever done, and he winked. And listen, it's going to be, I know people hate when I say this, but I have to compare it. It's going to be the God of War of Gears of War. It's going to be where
that's what I said. I said that.
Here's the thing. I actually don't agree. I don't think it will. I think if it was that drastic, they would show it.
I hope it is, though.
I hope me too.
I mean, if it was, I think wouldn't they advertise it that way, right? Like,
well, we're getting.
Why would you be afraid of showing it? If you should have confidence in it.
I agree.
All I know is they did say, Rod did say when he was signing the autograph that there are going to be 2 more reveals. One in July, one in August. It releases in September. He did say that they're holding back several big surprises that they don't want ruined. That's what he said.
I saw the content. Here's the thing. I saw the content roadmap, and September, what was it, 6th is the single player campaign reveal. Right, which is the day it releases for the Ultimate Edition people. Right. So that to me is a little bit of like you got to show that stuff a little bit ahead of time, right? Like new protagonists, supposedly, all these new things, a more open world, the skiff that you can use, like show that stuff. That was my complaint too, right? Like to me, I think it's cool you got a new game mode. Show that on Inside Xbox because I got vibes of that really bad Metal Gear Survive, like
Brother,
these random.
Even if they were just going to show the game mode. Put the gameplay up there on the big screen.
The game's gonna be great. It's got look, they got rid of the transactions, no season pass, none of that bullshit anymore. I think that's awesome. I just personally wanted to see some campaign.
The resident Gears of War, if you will, Esquire lawyer is here. Lady Foxfire's in the chat. She says it's going to be like Tomb Raider with some open areas.
That's a great analogy.
Well, it is.
Yes.
Guys, when you think about it, because I know you guys went right to God of War, and God of War is like faux open world. You know what I'm saying? It's linear, but
I get your point.
Different branches and stuff like that. That's not too far of a fetch for Gears of War to do
absolutely
the same
not.
thing.
No, absolutely. I want it to be that
too.
way. I don't want it to be open. I want it to be like God of War. Give me an illusion. Make it just big enough where there's enough to explore, but not Grand Theft. It can't
exactly or Red Dead Redemption.
Like Metro Exodus.
Yes.
Right. If you guys will play that.
And Knox, I think you'll be happy about this because in Gears, you can never jump anyway, so there's no worry about taking away any kind of jumping or anything like that. With making it more like God of War. You know what I'm saying?
I remember in Gears Judgment, they allowed you to go off the second story and like roll forward off the second story and stuff, and that was like revolutionary. I don't know how revolutionary it is now, but like people hated it. That's the problem, right? Is you change. And you might lose some people. Like that's the whole thing with Halo right now. There's that divided fan base where some people love how Master Chief now looks like he did in Halo 2, and some people hate it. Right? Like it really divides it.
I was concerned when I saw what Master Chief looked like because I was like, well, now how far are they stepping back? when it comes to the next Halo. But I got some information on that they're not necessarily stepping back in terms of gameplay.
Are they still? Do you know, Xbox? You might know. Are they still doing the continuation to this trilogy, or is this like a totally new thing?
From what I'm hearing, mankind and the AI kind of went to war. Now, like what we saw at the beginning of the game, it's kind of like, yeah, the war is over and we lost. So I don't know if they're gonna go from there. And
did they hashtag save lock?
Well, according to Kiki Wolfkill, that she actually said hashtag save lock 4K mega at E3. I trust me, he sent me the video and everything. He definitely wanted to show me that. So according to Kiki, it's hashtag save lock. So I don't know what that means.
I hope they didn't though.
I don't know, but I don't know if they're gonna flash back into the war and have you play some things like that were going on there.
I am going to tell you what I did here. The pilot that you saw is going to be with Chief for most of the game. So when he has to travel, he's going to be flying the ship.
Yeah, and that was the beginning of Halo Infinite right there, what we saw.
Yes. Yes.
Dennis Haas.
I do my Halo homework, people.
We're all saying save Lock. He's saying save Lockhart. Listen, I got to be honest with you, right? Shout out to Lady Foxfire, Goth Witch Girl, Salty's here. Good to have everybody here today on a Friday. Guys, one of the other things that we can kind of talk about, it was discussed, I believe last year. Guys, correct me where I'm wrong, okay? My notes are kind of all over right now. But we did have mention of having the Lockhart, right?
We did, yes.
And now we're moving forward with just Scarlett. And I'll be honest with you, Crap, you'll agree with me on this. We said this for months. It's confusing to have too many SKUs.
Hey, listen, who are we to say, right? So, it was kind of funny because remember, I mentioned this like months ago. I even said it didn't make sense to introduce the SAT edition.
No,
like it's asinine to introduce that right now, a year before you do new consoles, right? So I said what Microsoft is proposing, and maybe they didn't think this far ahead. That's what annoys me about Microsoft sometimes, and I come across as I'm a hater. Is they're this billion-dollar company, man, hundreds and hundreds of billions, and they can't get stuff like a name right, or they don't understand the basic humanality that people get confused by stuff. So they want to support the old consoles for years to come. So you're going to go into a store and see an Xbox One X, an Xbox One S, an Xbox One SAT edition, an Xbox Lockhart, an Xbox Anaconda, Xbox streaming device, right? Like, that's too much.
It's too many.
It's way too much.
It was Sega's downfall.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I'm not sure if you guys, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of him. A guy called Brad Sams.
Been on the show.
I think we might have heard him. Yeah. He had a video where he actually just put it out. I really, if you're interested to see exactly what happened, what he believes and what he has heard has happened, was that when they went to the developers of these games, normally, according to what he was saying, they develop the lower game and they scale it for the higher game. And apparently, it was becoming an issue with this Lockhart edition, and they were getting a lot of backlash from the developers. So they said, okay, listen, you know what? We're going to go with the Beast, and it's just going to be the one SKU developed for this and go crazy. And that's really what wound up happening. Now, I wouldn't doubt the SAD edition sales and scope of how everyone just dumped on it. You could have scared them out of Lockhart.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But he also mentions that because they're having supposedly internally they're having leaps and bounds of success with Xcloud, so they don't need that middle piece of hardware, which is going to cost them money to make.
Now here's the thing. This is the one thing that concerns me about not having Lockhart with Anaconda. We've gone for like months now talking about price points, and I think Mooch, you agreed with me that you wanted it at the same price as the PS5. I was like, if they have a lower entry model coming in for new hardware, then they don't necessarily have to think about price so much when it comes to the higher quality one, and really put in as much as they can underneath the hood of that. All right, and for people who want to spend more money, they can, but it doesn't really affect them in terms of like, oh man, what are we going to do if this doesn't sell like crazy, like right out the gate and all that good stuff. Now with them taking that lower price point away, I'm like, well, now you actually really do have to think about your price. You have to think about what you're putting in there and stuff like that, where they didn't have to so much before.
Well, I actually have a theory, Xbot, that I want to kind of just add to the amazing package you just put together. With them not having to spend the money on the Lockhart, could it be possible? Again, I'm throwing it out there. Could it be possible that they would be willing to eat some of the cost on this console to come in cheaper than the PS5 and be the more powerful?
Well, I'll meet you halfway in the middle there, Boom. I think they'll do what you just said, but I don't think they're going to come in cheaper. I think if it's more powerful and more money's going into it, I think they'll just eat it to make it the same price.
Right. Well, yes, right. They'll match it. Not so much.
Yes.
Okay, that actually makes better sense.
Yeah. I think that's what we're looking at.
When it comes down to it, they already spent an amount for research and development on Lockhart. Right. And when you look at it, research and development costs, they're a finite number. It ends at a certain point, right? And so I don't think it would be that much of that would be that much to take away when it comes to it. My concern is because we're not building units yet, right? And they have a good idea in terms of the infrastructure, the system on a chip, all that good stuff. But my main concern is that they don't slam these two together and water down the Anaconda to match a certain price point.
I don't think it's going to. Here's the thing, and this is the fact. Phil said it. I mean, this is not a lie. It sounds harsh, but he doesn't give a shit if you buy Anaconda or Scarlett. He doesn't care. He if you want to play it on your base Xbox One model, then you're going to do that. If you're going to play it on your laptop, you're going to do it, right? Like he doesn't care. He doesn't care though. He realistically.
Well, if he doesn't care, then doesn't it make it an option that they would take the two?
Well, you have to look at it this way. And I see Don in the chat, and he might not agree with this. This was always the thing. Like if you look at what's going on with the Xbox One X, we're not getting, for the most part, these games that are like blowing us away because everybody's skewing these things, making these games. And even though it's scalable, you're still not going to get the most out of it because there's limitations, right? If you look at Forza Horizon 2, it was a cross-gen game. It was a different game on the 360 because it couldn't do as much. The world couldn't be as big.
No, it
couldn't do the weather.
Game though.
Yeah, exactly.
Developers making it. They
exactly.
Scalable game.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though. It's like, there's obviously going to be a cutoff point for a 15 T-flop machine versus a 1.3 T-flop Xbox One launch, right? Like
there's always, like we said this before, Crap. It's like the cell phone kind of like dynamic. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a cutoff, but that cutoff is usually way back on the end. Well,
if developers are unhappy saying, hey, we're making these games so that they work on the Lockhart, but they're looking like shit. They're not really you're not getting the performance that you can because of that on the Scarlett, then that's an issue. Because just look at what we saw with Halo. It looks okay, but that certainly didn't look mind blowing.
Well, dude, it wasn't the graphics that you're talking about right there. Right there is the art style. They went a more pastel kind of like color palette. They went softer. There's still a lot of detail.
There's no reason, Xbot, that our games shouldn't be mostly 4K 60. If Gears can do it on every mode,
I'm pretty sure that was 4K. And it's probably going to be 60 frames per second.
I hope so. Because look at Gears. Gears sets the bar so high. It sets the bar so high. That's a developer that really takes the time with the hardware.
That's right.
But most of these Gears.
Gears.
Right?
Okay.
It looks brilliant. And it's 4K 60 with HDR.
Well, they are masters of
exactly.
the
This is what I'm saying. But if you look at it, stuff like what was it? Rage 2, 1080 60 on both Xbox.
This is the problem when you have Phil and company
Pro
coming out saying, "Hey guys, let's just let the developers do what they want." I think sometimes when you're going to develop for that particular platform, especially first party, you got to kind of put your foot down. Be like, guys, we're making this hardware. Customers are leaving their homes, taking that $400, $500, $600 out of their pocket, expecting this. You guys really can't just have that leeway. You at least have to give them tighter tolerances. I mean, don't you guys agree with that?
Well, Mooch, just real quick, I just want to talk to somebody in the chat real quick who said that the Halo trailer was CGI. It was a CGI cutscene. It is the beginning of Halo Infinite, all right? It was in-engine. It is what happens at the very beginning of the game. So when you buy the game or you get it in Game Pass, that's the first thing you're going to see when you go into the store.
Enrique, what do you got on this? Because I really am interested to hear what you got to say. You're very vocal on Twitter. So what's your opinion on this?
Are you saying they need to kind of put the pedal down, the foot down on third-party developers or first-party?
At minimum, first party. I don't think you can on third, but I think you can on first.
It's got to be first party. And look, I wasn't impressed with the Halo trailer. I like, you know, all the talk of the new Slipstream engine. I'm like, that's it. It didn't do anything for me. And
a step backwards from last year's presentation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Enrique.
Yeah, and like the lighting, the shadowing, and all that stuff just didn't look. It didn't look next gen. I mean, look, the trailer looks good in 4K. If you watch it in 4K, it looks
right.
Good.
Absolutely, agreed.
But for like a next gen game, it's not what I would imagine an next gen game to look like.
Does anybody here know? Does anybody here know like Star Trek, like the original movies? Like the first one, they went this big budget, opens, and it was boring. It was terrible. The second one, they scaled it down, more personal. Wrath of Khan, people love that movie. I feel like this is them doing Wrath of Khan. They scale it down. There's not, you know, teams of 4 anymore, and all. It's like Master Chief and this guy, and they're doing their thing, and they're going to go back, and there's going to be corridors, and it's smaller. I feel like they got smaller with Halo, and that's where they're trying to go with it, sort of like when they say spiritual reboot. So in my opinion, trying to do that, which I'm fine with. I just wish they would have, you know, like they would have, like, to me, Microsoft picked some of the worst footage to show off for both Halo and Gears, your two biggest properties, and we get, you know, some CG. We get the opening cutscene for Halo, which didn't look great, and then the Gear stuff again. Going back to that, they didn't show off the campaign, which traditionally those graphics look best. Yeah, you know,
so that's how it makes me pull my hair about Microsoft. Like their two tentpole titles didn't show well, I thought, at E3. Yeah. And I'm like, these are your two biggest franchises outside of like Forza, maybe Fable. They just didn't show well, and I'm like, you guys have like one shot to sell people on this stuff. And I just didn't feel like they did it. And with all the talk of power and Anaconda, I'm like, you guys are kind of raising the bar and setting high expectation for people. And if you don't hit that expectation, you only got one shot. And if you don't meet that expectation where these games are mind-blowing, first party, they have to be mind-blowing first party. Like, you can't control what third party does. You're never going to. If the first party doesn't come out and wow us next gen with all the talk of power, it's a lot of, you're going to see a lot of blowback from people saying, "Oh God, this is Microsoft. They promised us all this power. They can't even get that right. Here we go." And it's just,
but you know what? We again, I understand exactly what you're saying, and a lot of people, you know, wanted more. There's no, I think everybody on the panel, maybe everybody in the chat wanted more Halo, wanted more, more Gears for sure. There's no, especially because Gears is 2.5 months away. There was actually no reason why we didn't see single player campaign as great as the mode as Escape is, and it looked great. It looks, and again, I did not play it myself. I only taped it. It looks fantastic. It looks like it runs fantastic. I can't say definitively because I didn't have a controller in my hand.
Boom. Since you did watch it up close, like regardless of not playing it or not, did they kind of loosen up a little bit on the Gears characters? Did they actually? Does it look more like just fluidity, or is it still a very chunky,
no?
Kind of game?
I'm glad you bring that up because I'm going to say this. Many people I was speaking to, because that's the thing about the fan fest. You kind of really talk with everyone, and people like me and you, Mooch, who can talk people's ears off. It's a perfect venue.
The blessing and a curse. Go ahead.
Yes, at the same time. But the clunkiness, you know, that where you would get stuck on something.
It's one of my biggest pet peeves in Gears.
It seems to have been completely wiped away. It moves so fast. And it's so fluid.
Thank you, Rod.
Yes, they what the slow, methodical. Oh, I got clipped on a corner. That's gone. I can tell you that. Like I said, if you don't believe me, look at the footage that I was able to. They allowed me to capture. It runs super duper smooth.
That's what I wanted.
And quick.
That's exactly it. And I got to be honest with you. I have to ask you, Boom. And you know, we'll go back to you and everyone. Please, if you're on the panel, chime right in. But I go back to Boom because he was sitting there. What was the take? Because here's my take. We didn't have a ton of the glitz and the glamour that we thought we were going to see on stage. I thought the Scarlett showing was a slide. I understand that you guys went and saw Xcloud, but that was also a slide. There wasn't a lot to it. I thought there would have been more stage presence. We were promised 2 hours. It was 1 hour and 36 minutes or whatever it was. It was well short of 2 hours. So I said, listen, my actual rating would have skyrocketed if they showed more Gears and Halo. And I know Enrique is already
I agree.
What was the sentiment coming from you and everyone sitting around you? Were you kind of like, last year we saw Halo, we saw open world, new engine, gonna have wildlife, gonna have more Spartans, gonna have this living world, and then we just saw a corridor and him jump, say, "I'm ready to fight."
Brother, you didn't see what you saw last year was an engine
Oh
demonstration.
yeah, tech demo. I get it. I get it.
No, but it really like they used the stuff for 343. You know, the Spartans. They showed Master Chief at the end to show that this engine was going to be making the next Halo, but they weren't necessarily showing anything from the game last year. And here's the thing: when it comes to Halo, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Every time a Halo comes out, before it comes out, they show how Master Chief appears in the game. They show the scene where he either comes out of the cryo tube or something like that. They show where he comes out because they're always showing the new armor and stuff like that. So I think they're just following kind of like tradition with what they showed with Halo Infinite, man.
Go ahead.
Real quick, because here's my thing. For them to have come out prior to E3 and announce and make it a point to announce that they needed to create a PC powerful enough to run the equivalent of the Scarlett's specs, because the S and the X would do Infinite no justice, right? They had to put it on this rig because it do it no justice. What we saw did not look like it can't even run on a fat. That looked like it could run on a fat, on a S, on a SAD, on anything. So I don't understand why they'd make such an announcement to show that. Those are the things I don't like. And again, with the Gears, we're trying to keep it a secret thing. That just shows me you don't have any faith in yourself as a developer. And this is a game I love and a game franchise I love. It's Gears, right? You know what I'm saying? And I think Rod and them are going to do a great job. My shit is have the balls to go out there and say, hey, this is our vision, right? Sony didn't give a shit. I bring Sony up and go ahead, Bob. But they didn't give a crap. They knew people were going to feel a certain type of way of the direction that they took God of War, but they didn't care because that was their vision and they were behind their vision. They stood behind their product. That's what Microsoft needed to do. So either you have no faith or what you have is ass,
brother,
and you're trying to keep it a secret.
One thing that I have said for the longest time when it comes to Xbox is they try to listen to everybody. All right, when it comes to the console and everything like that,
except the hardcore.
I don't think that's the right way to go. It's exactly like you said. If you have a vision and you have a direction and you know you're gonna execute it to the top of your level and ability, that's what you do. All right, that's what I feel. When it comes down to this whole Halo thing, like I said, I think the art style is what is getting some people to be like, oh man, that looks like that could be played on absolutely anything. But when you're getting it at native 4K, 60 frames per second, you actually go outside.
We were told.
And the other thing, I'm sorry, Mooch, because I think you're going to go on the same thing that I'm going to mention here is, because Bob was bringing up last year's Infinite trailer and that it's an in-engine trailer, but that in-engine trailer implied the whole ray tracing demonstration. Okay, but they showed this massive, big, open, lush space, right? That is implying that the game is going to be taking place in something like this, in an atmosphere like this. So why would you show off at this E3 some claustrophobic opening scene? Nobody wants to see that shit. Save that.
I think they thought the console. People who are going to watch these trailers would realize what a game engine demonstration is and what a game trailer is.
You out there to wow the crowd, like Enrique said, man. This is E3. You got the stage. You're there to.
Let me ask Boom this. I want to ask Boom. Boom. What was actually the feel in the room? We were warned. I use the word warned because people didn't want to have. I like that Microsoft puts they try to put as much out there as possible, saying, "Listen, we're going to show you Halo on a PC." Right. And right. I for one, I was fine with that. Completely and utterly fine with that. Because to be honest with you, the farther we go in the PS5 and Scarlett, we're getting closer and closer to PC, like off-the-shelf parts, right?
No doubt about it.
I have no problem with them doing that. But I think what you're hearing, and I think we're not beating around the bush. These are personal feelings of gamers right here. But I think what you're hearing for the consensus is that we thought we were going to get blown away because A, it's on PC, and B, I was blown away last year. I couldn't wait to see what this year was going to be. What was the feelings on the floor and the discussions afterwards? Were people like, yes, Halo doesn't matter, they just showed it? Or were they kind of like, I thought we were going to build off of last year? And you're hearing what knocked. You're hearing some of the defense coming from Xbot. What was the sentiment that you guys heard on the floor?
Well, I mean, a lot of people on the floor were really happy with it, and it's funny. It's real funny because several people within the community have said in the last couple of years, Microsoft needs to show games, even if it's just a trailer. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
A lot of people have said that. Do a Sony, show a trailer, everyone will be happy. You'll get people excited.
Right.
And they go out and they do that, and people are shitting in the bed. Right. Here's the thing, folks. You got to understand something. They showed an in-engine thing last year. Yes, and I agree with Knox that they implied that it's going to be an open world, and I think it still is. It's going to be an open area type of Halo type. It's something new that we've never seen before. I think they need to go in that direction because the corridor shooter is old. It's long in the tooth, and we need change. I'm not saying make Halo not Halo, but you still need to change. But with that said, we have to remember there's still 18 months away from the launch of this title.
That is true. It is quite a distance out.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it launches in...
let me say this much, because I like your point. I really, really do. But I got to say, so I'm one of those folks that says, just put the name up there. I'm happy.
Yes.
But when you're talking about the beloved Halo, the beloved Gears, okay, the beloved Fable and Forza, what do we always hear? Xbox is always Forza, Gears, Halo. Those don't necessarily get that bad. What I was saying was you could throw that up there for, like, let's look at Nintendo. Use them as an example. Zelda, Mario, okay, Mario Kart. Pick a couple others. That's fine. They get in depth. They show everything. When they did Metroid, 4, they go Metroid 4, and a little bit of smoke came over the screen and it disappeared. That was enough. Yeah. Metroid is one of the other tiers. Like Fable, that would work.
It's been delayed since though.
Right, it has. But and that's okay. That's the industry. That's the business. You don't hear people really griping about that. People say all the time now, right?
But even dude, as soon as an Xbox game would get delayed, all of a sudden you would hear a lot of
I think we're past. I genuinely think we're past that. People would immediately come out and say, and I'd be there day one, I would say, no, delay it, make the game better. That we have all said that for years now. Yep. So what I'm saying to you guys is that I just think that if Fable said Fable and they just
should have done something with Fable. I got news for you.
I would have stopped making my bread if I would have saw Fable up on the screen.
That's a pretty strong statement there.
It is. Here's the thing, right? Why is it okay to show, which, by the way, I love the trailer that they did for Halo last year, showcasing the engine. That got people very, very excited.
Halo trailer is what
I'm just saying. I think that got people very, very excited. But also, how is it feeling like as Xbox fans? Like, boom, you're here. Like, maybe you're there. Maybe it's different when people are there and surrounded by the ambiance of the people. And you feel differently. Yeah, but where is the? Why can't we see something new from Microsoft? And they're already they've adopted the mantra of the fanboys now. Wait till next E3. Like last year, Phil was like, we held stuff back, and then we didn't get anything. And this year, he's like, well, we held stuff back. Wait till next year. I don't understand the thinking behind Microsoft and the people that buy into this, and they kind of push that along, almost apologizing for Microsoft, saying, oh, well, they don't have stuff ready. They've had 5 years to get something ready, and it's Microsoft. I don't understand how people can't be a little bit bummed out by that. For you had a blast going. For me personally, I've always wanted to go to E3, but I feel like I would have personally been let down with not one new single AAA IP shown off. Not one.
I'm gonna say this. As again, the ambiance is great and everything, but you're still a fan at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And for me personally, there were some low points for the show. Number one, I said this in the opening, no Killer Instinct 2. I don't even understand what's happening.
That's not even an expensive game to make.
No, it's certainly not.
It'd be perfect for Game Pass, too. I don't get it.
It should have been. They should have talked about it, even if, again, I don't necessarily. When do you talk about this? At XO? Do you talk about a Gamescom? This was a good opportunity. Okay, another one, which is a bit of a head scratcher for me. And again, these are small little ticks. But you know what? For me, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. I'm going to speak on it if it bothers me. We get a Banjo-Kazooie announcement, which was amazing for Nintendo. That's the perfect time to throw it out there. Hey, folks, we got a Banjo-Kazooie game here. So if you're a Switch owner, come on over, buy an Xbox. We have a Banjo-Kazooie for you. So that was another little bit missed opportunity. And to be honest with you, at the absolute minimum possible for an announcement, someone from Playground Games could have come out. The screen could have went black. Fable, the words, the 5 letters, right, or the 6 letters that whatever spells Halo. Fable could have come up
in development right underneath it,
and just and said, "Listen, folks, here's the thing. We know that you've been asking. We know there's been speculation. We just want to confirm to you that Playground Games is the one that's doing the big AAA.
Yes, that's what
we're
asking for.
Yes, and they should have done that. There's no doubt. Yes.
Yeah, and another thing too is this is something else I said. I said, listen, you have Halo, you have Gears, right? Now Gears Rod did come out, but Halo, and you said she was there, and I'm a big fan of hers, right? I think Bonnie Ross should have came out and spoke to the crowd. And said, what's happening.
She was there, so she should have come out and said, "Yeah, listen, she actually could have even just said, what'd you think of the trailer or something?"
Right?
Yeah, I listen. I wish they would hire
a little bit of insight to the game. Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys there. The only thing that I'm saying is, like, from last year, what they were showing was an engine demonstration. It wasn't even
you make a good point.
Trailer,
you make a good point, but you're also.
But what they showed was basically the equivalent of Shang Heist, what Don Matrick showed in 2013. It gets people excited. Like, to me, that like, people in the Xbox camp need to be excited. I think everybody knows that I've. Go ahead.
My bad. I think traditional Halo people and this kind of
I agree with that.
This kind of scares me as well. I think traditional Halo people saw exactly what they wanted to see. All right, from the next Halo game, they wanted a kind of like a throwback to the original Halo 1, 2, and 3. It's a little scary to me because, like I said, Halo 1, 2, and 3, there was no running, there was no Spartan abilities, anything like that. I really feel like those things brought another level.
I don't think they're going away, Spot.
No, well,
I don't think those things are going to go away.
Well, when Master Chief got started up, when his armor got started up, somebody was sending me screenshots, and it showed like Spartan ability active, running active, and stuff like that. So I think they still have that in there. But for the traditional Halo guys, they needed to see that. Oh, here's Master Chief moment.
And he's going to go jump into space and take down an entire freight.
It was a traditional. Before a Halo game is released, like kind of like the first thing you see from the game is that Master Chief.
That would have been cool. That would have been all well and good, right? If right after that they would have done like one of them snap reels where it just starts showing gameplay. Boom, bow, bow, bow. Master Chief killing people, throwing grenades, do some quick shit like that. Boom, come in 2020, whatever, with the launch of the Scarlett. Bomb, done, killed it. But just showing them talking there. Nah, my dude. I'm sorry, man. I just can't, bro.
The game is, like I said, I understand the frustration, but again, I'm not Earth Defense Force here, but I have to agree with Bot that the game is 18 months away. I mean, it is. I'll put it to this way: if you're asking for me personally, I agree with Bot. That's what I wanted to see as a Halo fan, and I got it.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll say this much. I'll go ahead and say Xbot and Boom's defense there, especially in the 18 months, is fine. But here's where I get concerned as an Xbox fan. Gears is 3 months away.
Yeah, and I said
we didn't see.
The biggest drop of the
does that mean that next year? Look, Gears is coming out in September. E3's in June. We didn't get campaign. Halo's coming out holiday 2020. E3 still in June. Doing the simple math, right? We're not going to see campaign next year.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. And I feel this is what you have to understand. Because it's been 5 years and we haven't had this new AAA experience, right? New AAA IP. People start to get a little bit more antsy. People get a little bit more. They get more in question,
dude,
and they showed their head or second think to purchase. Yeah,
let's be real, Mooch. They showed a new game, a game that if you are just a gamer at heart, you'd be like, "Yo, that looks really good. I wanna."
If that game is sprinkled in between Fable and Halo gameplay and Gears gameplay, it's outstanding.
Man.
Outstanding.
Like, seriously,
but that was the creme de la creme.
But see, here's the deal: it's not a single player game. It's not a heavy story narrative game. And when people say they want new IPs, they're looking over at PlayStation with the Uncharted's, the God of War, saying, I want a game like that on my Xbox. They don't want new IPs. They just want a game like that on the Xbox. Let's be real. That's what they're saying.
Let me say this. Let me switch subjects slightly. I want to kind of go back to Boom and then open it up to the panel. One of the things that we've been discussing over the past few weeks as well here on podcasting, Boom, interested to hear your opinion being on the floor again with everybody there, the hardcore. We've been kind of talking about, is power really going to be the narrative, or is it price, or is it the features they've been talking about?
It's content.
And yeah, I mean, Crap's been very vocal in saying that it's going to be games and content because these two boxes are going to be extremely similar, even if one does nudge out the other one in power.
Well, like I said earlier, I think I said on Wednesday, Xbox fans are worried if they have the weaker console that it's going to be a 720p thing all over again. It's not.
No.
And I think Sony fans want the power crown just so they can have something else to kind of rub into the faces, right? Like that's basically what it comes down to. Realistically, they're going to be so similar, it doesn't matter. They're both doing almost the exact same thing. They both talked up loading times, like almost zero loading times, 4K up to 8K, 120 frames per second, backwards compatibility.
Right.
They're both doing the exact same thing. It's all coming down to content. This is why Microsoft is investing in studios, because they know that's their.
Well, they're gonna have to definitely beef it up. There's no doubt about it. But I'm gonna tell you this: the only difference between the machines that we currently know that has been confirmed on the Xbox side is that ray tracing is going to be done through the hardware, as opposed to what we're hearing that the Sony PlayStation 5 is taking the cheaper route and is going to go through the software route. Use software instead.
Where did they confirm that?
Well, no one's confirmed it for Sony, but but Microsoft.
Microsoft, yes. Sony's is just speculation.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's right. I didn't say Sony confirmed it. Microsoft has confirmed it's going through the hardware, which is the way you want to do it. Sony, again, in the rumor mill, whoever's throwing out these rumors, it's supposedly they're going through the software route.
Software based.
Because they got to give them something to fight about, right? They got to put things.
Probably,
That comment alone, and Enrique, I'll give you the mic back right now. I'll ask you. That comment alone tells me that the Xbox hardware would cost more, right? Just off the shelf. So my point being is,
I would assume it would,
right? So, but this is an issue. I think this is a bit of an issue. Now that we've knocked Lockhart out for all practical purposes, okay? Now you're talking about retaining your Xbox One X, which I know a lot of people are doing, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of people
write me and they say they're going to do that. That's fine. That's fine. But I think it's kind of detrimental if Xbox launches at $599 and the PS5's at $499, even if it has some of these other great abilities. Ray tracing, let me tell you this much. I've got a 2080 Ti, right? And it does ray tracing. It's still only available on a handful of games, and that's an expensive card. Yeah. Okay? So what I'm trying to say to you, right?
So the average person, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, Crap. Exactly. It doesn't.
And we're not going to see rate.
The $100 cheaper is what's going to matter at the end.
Yes.
That's what I'm concerned about.
What about Ray? I don't know anything about Ray. Ray Charles is in it.
I mean, Enrique, what is your take on this? I mean, price, I think, is going to be the ultimate factor.
I think price will, and if it does do ray tracing hardware and the Xbox console does it better, it's not going to do ray tracing day one out of the box. So no one's really going to see that. Like your point.
I'm going to tell you,
2080 Ti. No one's going to see that, and they're going to gravitate towards a cheaper console. And if Sony comes with The Last of Us 2, which you got to imagine it's probably going to be a launch title for that console, they're going to show off the glory and how great that game looks, and they're going to be like only on PS5, and people are going to go nuts, and it's going to be $100 cheaper, and people are going to gravitate towards price. And that's it.
I'm going to tell you what I would do. I doubt anyone from Xbox is listening, but you know how Microsoft likes to go first? I would completely change everything next year. I think Phil understands. Every time, in the last few days, he's done some pretty epic interviews. The one with Giant Bomb, I highly recommend people going.
Every year, that's a good interview.
That's a good. Jeff Gerstmann,
boom.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I want to say one more thing real quick. I think if Microsoft is going to have that ray tracing built into the hardware, I think they have to show it. They have to justify that. If it is $100 more, they got to justify. They got to show it on stage, like why it's $100 more. You can't say, oh, well, it's $100 more because our ray tracing is done by hardware. You have to show it.
If it is hardware accelerated, what this means is a more complete ray trace element in the game. It means the lighting, it means the graphics, it means the shadows.
It's not software manipulated,
everything.
correct?
Where with the software and hardware accelerated means it has cores dedicated to doing the ray tracing within the game. You have hardware underneath the hood dedicated for that. Where if it is software based, the same CPU cores that are managing the workload of the game are also trying to manage the workload of ray tracing, which could be definitely it's a very extensive
it's taxing
thing
for sure.
Yeah,
guys, I get it, right? Ray tracing, great. Where's the games?
Right.
That's all I care about.
That's what I was
point,
saying.
right?
Like they got to show that.
Yeah, we're getting. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people don't like Kotaku. I'm not a big fan. This interview, Phil Spencer just did an interview with Steven Totillo on there. It's called Xbox Boss on Microsoft's Struggle with Game Quality. And and this is something that we've all kind of talked about it. Steven asked, he says, this is the first year without a new Forza that I can recall. Why? And Phil's response, one of the nice things I loved about E3 2019, Xbox briefing, at least they would be more in my head than they would be in public, was the things that we didn't show. So Phil's kind of saying, wait till next year. He goes, I think about the 14 first-party games, 12 are shipping in the next year. Now, guys, if I asked you right off the bat, because he's counting 12 games of shipping, like in Phil's head, this is a megaton for them. Like they've got all these great games coming out. The average Xbox fan or the average gamer is looking like Flight Simulator, Battletoads. Okay.
Battletoads!
You know what I mean? It's like more that there's nothing really super Ori 2 good, but
it's a Game Pass filler.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, we're able to focus on what's coming now, which I think is awesome. And then I think about the studios. Where was the initiative? Where was Forza Motorsport Studio Turn 10? Where was Playground Second Team? So basically the three things on the top of his head, if you play sort of, psychologist with them and Forza Motorsport, we know we're going to get a Forza Motorsport. It's probably going to launch next year with the new console. They always do that. So that's not really a surprise that they're going to announce that next year. The initiative, I think that's a bit of a surprise. We don't know what they're doing. Could be great. And then Playground's second team is making Fable. So theoretically, Phil only has a couple surprises maybe planned for next year. One of them being another Forza Motorsport game, the Fable game that we've already known about for 2 years now, and the initiative, which I doubt they're going to be ready to show anything from that next year either. So he's like, it was nice and hasn't always been the case with our first party lineup where we've had the ability to not show everything all the time, which he said this the last couple of years. He says, in the case of Forza, I want the team, just like we did with 343, we gave them time. We did 4 Halos in 4 years, giving them an opportunity to really think and have a creative impact when they launch. Turn 10 is similar. I want to give them time to think through their plans. I love what they do with motorsports, but you've got to be able to listen to your studios when they need time and they want to focus on more things, and you have more content, and you're able to do that. So then Tortillo mentions in 2007, when you were head of the game portfolio at Xbox, a younger Phil Spencer told a younger Steven about the games from first party. He says, and this was Phil Spencer's quote, it's very important that we pick games that matter. We're going to focus, and this was in 2007, mind you, going to focus on fewer games and make sure those games are stars when they come out. For a long time, I really did look at our first party of Microsoft and saw a consistent high level of quality. And honestly, I feel like it diminished a little bit sometime in the last several years. I look at the first party operations of all the platforms and I see a lot of Game of the Year contenders from both Nintendo and Sony. And I would say bluntly, looking at recent years from you guys, Forza Horizon stands out, but not so much Crackdown, not so much Halo, which I think many people thought the campaign was weaker than others. Gears 4 was solid, but it wasn't outright the best Gears ever. So you have good taste in games. You play a lot of games. I don't know if you see it quite the same way I do, but you see that there has been a lot of challenge in terms of high-quality game creation with you guys. And if so, have you figured out the remedy to get past and make those stars again? And Phil Spencer says, I think quality at first party is very important, so I'm with you there. We did reach a time in our first party where the number of games and studios that we actually had and were investing in put a lot of pressure on everything that we were doing. And it became more difficult to manage a portfolio when you kind of needed everything at any point to hit a date that it had picked 3 years ahead of time at the very high level of quality. But now they're getting support. And he says we've had over the last couple of years have allowed us to invest in our first party, adding 8 new studios, blah, blah, blah. He feels good about Rod Ferguson and the Coalition, Bonnie Ross and 343, Alan Hartman in Turn 10, and Minecraft. So basically, he's just kind of talking about that. So he says, you're speaking to what you're privy, what we're not able to play yet. And he's talking about how they have things and they're excited about the future next year. But I don't think, a lot of people are already saying, wait till next year. I think next year is going to be, they're going to show off Halo again, obviously. they're supposedly going dark until next E3 before they show off anything Halo. So Halo will be a big part of E3. Forza Motorsport 8, Fable. Maybe they're going to tease something initiative-wise, but I don't see them doing a lot with any of the other studios next year because they're so tied up with multi-platform games right now still, right? Even the new one that they picked up, Double Fine, they're shipping 2 games, both of them on PS4 as well. They did make a new Age of Empires studio, but theirs exclusive to PC. It's like all these studios, Outer Worlds, they could end up having to make Outer Worlds 2. So who knows when we'll get something console exclusive from Obsidian. But Phil doesn't really care, I don't think, because it's going in Game Pass day and date. So that's all he cares about. Whereas the average fan is looking for something to really show off and showcase these new pieces of hardware that they're showing. And that's the frustrating part as an Xbox fan, at least for me personally.
Yeah, no, and that interview actually went a long way. People were kind of retweeting that for the past few days. I think that's where the frustration comes in, and I speak to the panel, I speak to the chat. A lot of people are like, "Oh, why are you guys talking about this?" It's a talk show, folks. Again, maybe it's because I'm from New York. I use sports, but I got to say, right? I'm a Mets fan, whether you're a Yankee fan. I mean, the Mets can win. The Mets can win 7 games in a row. When you tune into SNY, what is the first thing they do? They start being like, I don't really think our starting pitch is kind of shaky. We just won 7 games in a row, right? But it doesn't mean they hate the Mets. It doesn't mean we are Xbox fans. But you do have to understand, there's a direction that Xbox is going in, and boom, you were there. You kind of saw it. The direction they're going in is a direction that some people may dig. I dig it. I don't have a problem with it. Listen, I don't know. You don't know this yet, Boom, unless you saw me on Twitter. But I'm a Stadia founder, and I'm going to be an Xcloud member day one.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
right.
The writing's on the wall with Microsoft.
They're right there.
They're heading the services route. I mean, they're a services-based company. It's not Xbox that owns Microsoft. It's Microsoft that owns Xbox.
Absolutely.
And Xbox has to fit within Microsoft's the grand scheme, the master plan of Microsoft.
Yes,
they have to fit into that, and they are heading towards being a services-based platform. That's what, like Mooch said, or not Mooch, but what Crap said earlier, like. Phil doesn't care if you buy an Xbox or not. He probably cares more about whether or not you subscribe to Game Pass.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, obviously they're making money hand over fist with that.
Yes,
but like I was saying earlier, I think that Phil understands, and I don't believe it's going to happen. I understand that both boxes are going to be close. One might be more than the other. Like, let's say, for instance, the Xbox is slightly more powerful. I think both boxes are going to come at the same price. I think Microsoft has no choice but to come at the same price, even if they're eating a little bit of the cost. And I think that the cancellation of Lockhart will certainly make that a lot easier. And I was saying, and I think Mooch will definitely agree with me, instead of being the first one out the gate, I would let Sony go first, watch what they do. And if they announce it at $499, you come out and say, yes, our box is more powerful and it's the same price.
I've literally been saying that for years. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been saying that for years. Boom. I don't see them going first. But shout out to Eternal Shaddai, who proves also the super chat's working. Thank you, Eternal. I appreciate that. Doesn't that let us know that Phil doesn't want to know about the Xbox One gen because it was Don's era and he wants to drift out of that in a safe way?
Here's the thing, though, Eternal Shaddai. Well, sorry to jump in, Mooch.
No, go ahead.
Phil was there, okay, everything Don was okay with, and now they're bringing back everything just in a different way in a different time. So that's the way Microsoft wanted it to be, and Microsoft is continuing to do that, right? Like that Xcloud's all about that. DRM, digital DRM. Just look at this problem that we're having with this Minecraft story mode. $700 to buy it.
Are you buying it, Crap?
I already own it and made sure that I had it downloaded. But it's just one of those things that makes you on the 360, because that was the only way that they could keep it up. So if you already have it, you don't have to pay that. You can just download it now. Yeah. But it's getting delisted, and you won't ever be able to download it again, ever. Like that's a real worry. But listen, so far from what we've heard from Matt Booty, right? If they really want to get out of this Xbox One life cycle, are we even so sure that this new console is not going to be Xbox One something? Right?
No, I think it's going to be a new name, and they've already talked about it being much different in design.
I understand the different design.
Did
you see I don't know if you saw the Eurogamer interview, Boom, but Matt Booty, they were asking him about, they flat out ask him, and like sometimes their answers are so damn confusing. And when you read this interview that Spencer has, there's a PR guy that jumps in at a particular time, right? And I find that to be funny. Public relations rep is right there. He's like, oh, like they're talking like, listen, okay. So Tortillo asked, do you want to tell anybody anything exciting about Fable? Phil Spencer laughs. I love that Fable came to Xbox One backwards compatibility. I want to make sure that when we talk about things to come, whether it's Fable or not, that the team feels very solid about what they're doing. I will harken back to, I can go through my Battle Scars Marvel MMO. Anybody remember us announcing a Marvel MMO? We didn't even have a team that was signed that would do the Marvel MMO. And Steven says, whoops. And Spencer says Codename Kingdoms, which eventually laughs. Xbox PR rep. We don't have to go through this list. Right? Like they've constantly got people like sitting there, like telling them what they can say, what they can't say. It's such a weird thing to me. Like, I get it. You announced some stuff too early. Fable got canceled. That was a shit game anyway. That's not Fable. You should have let them do Fable 4, which is what that studio wanted to do. And, you know, at the time they were like forcing everybody to do these weird things. But if you read what Matt Booty said in that Eurogamer interview, they're like, so are we going to go into a store and see an Xbox Scarlett disc and use it? And he goes, well, we kind of take care of this the way that PC does, where it recognizes hardware and then installs based on that.
Yeah.
So to me, it almost sounds like there might not be a separate disc, that you're still going to buy that Xbox One disc. And then we saw the thing from Jez Gordon on Windows Central that says that they're using some kind of update, but it's going to be years. And so for the next few years, at least, everything is going to be cross-gen. There's not going to be anything that's on Xbox Scarlett that's not on Xbox One X or Xbox One S. So that, to me, it leaves me a little bit unsure as to what we're going to do next gen. Is it going to be an Xbox One something Infinite? There's a rumor that it was going to be Infinite. Phil said he doesn't even know the name, so I'm going to guess that we don't know yet. But hopefully, I'm with the camp that says erase Xbox One from the annals of history and just move on to something else.
I think they're going to move on.
I
don't see how they can hold on to that name. I think they want to kind of put that to bed. And I think in 2 to 3 years, your X may not be suitable for new games coming out.
Hey, Mooch, check this out. I just want to jump back before we get too far, because Boom was talking about, you know, the price point for these systems and stuff like that. Now, Boom, if they were planning on going $100 more, you got to remember, with the PS4 beginning of this generation, yeah, it came in at a lower price point, but we've all heard how, like, you know, rumor-wise or whatnot, how they had, like, the PlayStation camera in the box.
Yeah, it was originally in the box. All right? That's correct.
I don't see Microsoft taking $100 hit. All right, like, you know, last minute, it's like, oh man, that's the price point for this. Well, we had this stocked at $500. You're not going to be able to take anything out like a peripheral, like a camera or anything like that, and sell it separately to kind of make up for that. So that's where, when if you remember back in the beginning of the show, I said one of my main concerns, now that they don't have a Lockhart with the Anaconda, is them taking the two technologies and kind of like fusing them together, having lower price points for different things underneath the hood of the Anaconda to come in at a lower price point now. That's a concern for me, because I wanted them with the Anaconda to go all out.
They are probably going to go all out, but the problem is that they're going to have
$100 hit.
Well, I'm not saying that they should or they shouldn't. I'm saying they're $1 trillion company, and if they're looking to take back the schoolyard that they lost from the C360 days, they have to walk up to the bully and punch him in the mouth.
Well, brother, if that's the case, you're not looking at it the way that they are looking at it, though. With Xcloud and Game Pass and everything like that, they're like, well, instead of going up and punching the bully in the mouth, we're going to charm the rest of the kids in the playground and just have the most amount of friends out there.
I mean, listen, it's certainly possible, and it could play out exactly what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that if the box is going to be $599, which I'm going to be honest with you, I think everyone here is going to go out and buy. But they're going to have to. The issue at hand here is the PR, which has been really the Achilles heel of the Microsoft Corporation, and I've talked about this on my show. It is a terrible, terrible way to do things. I'm not blaming anyone in particular, but I'm telling you this. If they hired me, I would make Xbox great again. I'm going to tell you that right now.
There you go. I'll buy that hat.
I have my green hat ready to go. I'll make Xbox great again.
Make it red.
When did you turn orange?
Enrique, listen, I got news let me ask you guys a question. I've been bringing this up for about 2 weeks now, and I have to ask people to kind of put your thinking caps on and just hear me out for a second. Xbox has said it. We've kind of tap danced around it. We haven't gotten into it. Xbox did a huge sale this past 2 weeks, right after E3, with the Ultimate sale. And don't get me wrong, guys, it is phenomenal. If you're not taking advantage of it, you're missing out.
Is it a good deal?
Right, it is. It's a phenomenal deal, to be honest with you. But my question goes to Boom and Enrique first, because then I want to hear what you guys have to say. Me and Crap have kind of gotten in depth on this. I almost feel like Xbox is doing something right now where it's almost like Pavlov's dogs, if you will, right? So everyone is kind of running to the bell. It's too good to be true. Running to the bell. Eventually, if I can just tap your memory banks, okay, total recall here, everybody. Back when Netflix was $8.99 a month. And now if you're not in a group situation, I believe it's $12, $13, or $14.99 a month, depending on which service you want from them. And it's only going to go up. And I know everybody likes to say it's only splitting hairs here and there. Hear me out. Here's where I think we have an issue. Right now, and for the foreseeable future, I know Boom has it. I know Crap has it. I know I have it. I believe everybody on the panel has it. I have Ultimate until 2022. Now,
me too. Yes, so do I.
Right? Oh yeah, we're not
jealous,
right? We know what we're doing. But my point being is this. Hear me out, guys. After 3 years, someone like myself who uses Game Pass almost never.
I always do. I am a Game Pass master.
Right. I need you in this conversation, Boom. I don't ever use it. You always do. When our subscriptions run out in 2022, depending on the month, that's indifferent. When that runs out, whether you use them all the time, those games, or you didn't, you're going to have a void. The void after 3 years of looking into your inbox and seeing all of those games, whether you play them or you don't.
Right.
And then the day that subscription runs out and it's $14.99 or it's $15.99 or it's $19.99, okay, a month. What's happening right now, and you have the hardcore faithful going, that's cheaper than if I bought a few games. I hear you. I get it. But the masses who are buying just Call of Duty and are just buying just Madden or FIFA, okay, and spending only $60 a year or maybe only $100 a year because they buy one used and one new, okay, these folks are going to say, this is great now. And then they're going to be like, wow, all of a sudden, Microsoft has really gotten me. They've taken it from a luxury to a necessity. It's the same thing with your phone plan. There's no way right now, everybody that has an unlimited plan, would you, when your unlimited plan runs out, would you go back to 200 minutes a month?
Certainly not.
And you might not even use you might not even use 200 minutes. We're all texting and doing everything else.
Right.
Okay. So you may not even use your 200 minutes, but you'll be damned if you're going to go from unlimited to 200. Now, hear me out. This is a great thing today. But what I'm telling all of you now that are all lining up, and I'm in the line too, so I'm not better than anybody else. When we all line up and say, this is great and this is what you have to do, I just want you to know, I truly believe that everybody in Redmond's going, gotcha.
You know what? I have a great response for that.
Because if you decide, you and the missus, okay, when it's $14.99 or $19.99 in 2022, you decide not to do it, you will feel that void. It is like going from unlimited minutes to 200 minutes.
No, you're absolutely right. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you why no one in their right mind would honestly think that way, because I have been with Netflix since the beginning.
Great example.
Right. And they just went up in price. My wife went out. We got the bill and we were like, wait a second.
Yep.
This is $3. This is $3 more than what. Oh, well, it's $3 more. You know what I'm saying? I guess I gotta spend more times on the corner, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But
I say the same thing.
But boom, and don't get me wrong. I'm glad we both have the same issues going on Netflix. I use Netflix for 2 series a year.
Oh,
you use it every night. I know you do.
Yes.
But here's the thing. I've been holding on to Netflix and paying that same $3 increase, waiting for Stranger Things 3. And my point being here is there's 4,000 shows on Netflix that I don't watch.
Right.
But I sit there and I say to myself, well, I'll be damned.
You could not have Netflix.
Absolutely. Because let's say you turned to me like a couple months ago, somebody said to me, Mooch, you got to watch Umbrella Academy. And I loved it.
It was great.
But I got to be honest with you, that was in between another gap of 3 months of not watching Netflix. My point being is, okay, whether it be Umbrella Academy, Stranger Things,
Black Summer.
Right. Okay,
Black Summer's good.
Black Summer, right? All these great shows that come every so often. That's the way kind of Game Pass is for me. I'm a Game Pass every 3-4 months kind of guy. So I'm paying $19.99, and I'm jumping to the future, hypothetically speaking, or $14.99 if you want to be realistic. Okay, and I'm not utilizing this thing, but I have that feeling. And listen, the same way they're going to make a correlation that loot boxes are addictive in gambling, which that doesn't affect me. There's a loot box in every game. You know what I do? I chuckle as I wave by them. I don't gamble at all. Hey, Mooch, you can win this skin. Zip right to the next screen. I don't even pay attention to that. But there's some people that have a problem with it. Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is, do you see where I'm saying that this goes from a luxury? It will feel like a necessity. And that, my friend, is what they want us to feel. And that's why I say, Knox has been on record as saying, I will not subscribe for too long. I get it when it's $1. I get it when it's $3. I get it when it's $10.
Immediately. I cancel it immediately.
That's what I'm saying. So don't get me wrong. This deal in place now is a hard argument. This is a great deal.
And I do that with Netflix. I do it with Hulu. See, we can't allow. I know, but then that's our fault because when they keep making this money hand over fist, this is why, in my opinion, of course, I feel
I don't blame Microsoft.
Microsoft doesn't respect the consumer, but why would you?
Dude, they're as consumer friendly as any company you've ever met, dude. Yeah, they are.
No, that's the snake oil.
Nah, dude. Listen. Let
me make my point.
Okay, yeah, make your point, Knox.
They don't have respect for the consumer, in my opinion, the hardcore consumer, because we don't have the respect for ourselves. We gotta vote with our wallets, right? If we want to show them, I don't like this, I'm not satisfied with this, don't go and get Game Pass for 3 years. That's right. What they want you to do.
Yeah, but what if you do like it? What if you you have to look at
if was a fifth, then we'd all be drunk, right? Like you can't. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, bro. The point is, bro, sometimes there's no problem with taking a stand and being like, and this is my opinion, just me.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
You know what really ties me to Microsoft? The damn controller. It's because of the damn seriously, that's probably the hardest thing that will make me leave. Everything else makes me want to leave. The only thing that keeps me there's a damn controller. Like, damn, I can't. It's too comfortable. But like seriously, right now, I feel that Microsoft doesn't respect this hardcore consumer, and we are the ones that bring everything. Bro.
And you know what? And boom, I'm going to give you the mic because you do have to rebuttal there. But I want to say shout out to Saji about it. He says this conversation is pointless. Saji, here's the thing. I'll tell you right now, it is in a sense because right now you've got a great deal out there and we're all in line. All of us, every one of us, we're all in line. But to say it's a pointless conversation, the reason I think it has merit is we're all lining up kind of like lemmings. And right? Because before every single week before these past few, we all used to say, I'll buy the game or I won't. Well, now you're not saying that. Now you're saying I will blindly and happily give you my money whether I use it or not. Well, that's a completely different situation. So I think there's something there.
Well, my response to exactly what you're saying is very simple. I know that of course Knox he feels that they're not consumer friendly or respect the consumer, and of course, we will politely disagree, and that's what men do. If we don't, we politely disagree, right? And my rebuttal to this is, you have to look at the overall package that they're offering, whether it's now or 3 years from now. Like for instance, I had Game Pass paid up to until getting to FanFest, which by the way, I got 18 months for free. I answered a couple of questions. I got 6 months. I got 2 cards, and then in the big sack of gifts that they gave me, 12 months was emailed to me, and all I had to do was enter the code, and I was good.
Right.
But what was amazing, and what people fail to understand about this, is that I was paid up, I think, until probably the beginning of next year, and actually my Xbox Live Gold was ready to expire in July, crazy enough. Right. And as soon as I put all these codes in, everything was transferred over to Xbox Ultimate, which means that I'm paid up in Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass PC and console to April 2022. Okay. And with that package, I'm getting the 3 services. Now, I'm not going to use the PC one because I don't have a rig. I run all of my shows off of Surface, so I'm not playing any of these games. But the important thing that people are not talking about is with this new Ultimate package, the consumer, i.e. everyone that's listening and everyone on this panel, you are getting the Ultimate edition of every Microsoft first party. And how do I know that? Well, I went to the store yesterday and I went to Gears, the Ultimate edition, and it said install. And that's going to be standard fare for Halo, for any of their first party games that have Ultimate editions, which give you all the DLC, give you all the extras, and give you the 4-day extra, before everyone else plays for that same $14.99. So you're getting all of this for $15. And if, like I said, I say this all the time, if you're a savvy gamer, you wait for Amazon to have a buy 3 months, get 3 months free kind of a sale. You get the Ultimate for 6 months for $60. So you're saving $5 a month. And you're paying, and you're buying in advance. I'm going to continue to do that. And in regards to being a necessity, well, because I use all of these services, and Xcloud is going to be included, I believe, in this Ultimate package.
Well, see, that's another thing. That's a great topic.
No, we don't know that.
I tend to say that I think you're right, but here's where I think it's not going to happen. Boom.
Let me just chime in for something that I've been thinking about for a little bit with this Ultimate. It's really Snake Oil's way of getting PC gamers to pay for Xbox Live, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Like they did it, right? Yeah. Because I see PC gamers go, this is a really good deal, and maybe I'll play a little bit on Xbox or use Xcloud or whatever, right? Yep. So realistically, Microsoft gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Right. That's the thing.
Gotcha. Boom just said it. Boom said, I'm not going to use the PC, but I'm paying for it. I'm not going to use PC.
Hey, to be honest with you, I'm not going to use game. Hey, good point. I'm not going to use it either. I could give 2 shits about PC gaming, but I have it because I got it. They did that upgrade thing or whatever, which I did very smartly. I just bought the Xbox Live ahead of time and then did the upgrade deal. And again, one of the main reasons I did this wasn't actually a good thing, but I got tired of paying $40 and $60 for mediocre to trash games, and this will let me try those games. I don't have to buy the.
That's what Battletoads said. She said, "I use Game Pass as a trial for games."
Exactly.
I actually use it for games. I play a lot of games that are on Game Pass. Tons of them that I would have never bought.
I know, Boom, but for me, and this is not everybody. I get it. This is just me thing. I have over 800 games, so I already have a shit ton of games that I don't play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. And not just that, but think about it like a buffet, though, crap, right? This is why I got to answer to Boom, right? Boom. There's a lot of things. If I said to you, Boom, pick like 10 places. We're going out 10 nights in a row. Let's go out to eat somewhere. And you list 10 different restaurants, right? But when you go to a buffet, then they got like something over on the side, and you're like, and you put it on your plate, you bring it over, and I go, oh, Boom, you like that? And you go, no, but it's up there, right? So what you're telling me when you say I'm playing all these games I never would have played, you're telling me something. You're saying, well, it was just a plate that was up there. I paid for it, so I'm going to try it. But realistically, you especially, Boom buys everything, right? That's a slogan all over. I'm shocked that's not on LA billboard. But right?
Boom buys everything. Boom buys everything.
Right? So I mean, of all people, you have no shortage on games. So
that's human tendency, though. A lot of us do that, like with Netflix. I mean, there's stuff that I probably wouldn't even watch on Netflix. But in my mind, you kind of have to justify that. You have to justify that purchase. Like, I'm spending $14, $15. I need to be using this. So
real quick, let me do a quick shout out here to the super chat. Appreciate you guys all doing this for me. I appreciate it. He says, "Hey Boombastic," it's Gotham guy. He says, "Hey Boombastic, nice to have you on the show." And Knox, you're right. My best friend has been sticking with PlayStation only because of the controller. It's just what he's used to. And then shout out crap, you'll like this one. This one's for you from Thumbs. He says, "Stop asking people to the like button. No one's doing it. It's Mooch's channel." That's true. What happened?
And we don't even have 100. We don't even have 100. It's like 137 people. This the summer is the dog.
I've been asking people to do the same too.
I saw that. Thank you, Enrique.
Man,
like, we have all these people. I'm like, hit the like button. We have like 30 likes or something.
This is a joke back with the Jetsons.
Hey, Z Black Rider says Crap likes Farmville. Crap does not like Farmville. I could not.
Loves Farmville.
I couldn't give two shit. I don't like any of the. I like people give me those farm games all the time. They're like, "Hey, play my farm game," and I'm like, "Eh." I live in Florida, man. It's 100 degrees. I couldn't imagine, working on a farm, let alone playing a game. That doesn't seem very relaxing to me. So no, I'm not gonna. I like, just regular games. I'm actually really into this new Sonic racing game. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Real quick, we're talking about games. This is a game show. I just want to throw this out to the panel, anyone in the chat. Please, for the love of Joe, 2 smaller titles released this week. One of which is getting its way to my game of the year. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is absolutely a masterpiece, and my friend Pedro is freaking believable.
I saw the stream for my friend Pedro. It looks ridiculous.
It is Max Payne meets Deadpool meets someone on crack cocaine. That's exactly what it is.
You gotta listen to that banana, man.
I'm definitely thinking of grabbing my friend Pedro as well.
It's only $20. It's cheap, and if you're a Symphony of the Night fan, if you love Castlevania, a Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is really.
Depending on what happens with Destiny tonight, I will be playing Bloodstained. I plan on playing that this evening, actually. Boom. I do want to bring this up, Boom, because you were there too, and I know this is a hot topic. It is big for me. Like I said, I invested in it just because I want to see where this is going to go. I'm not saying it's the say all end all, but I gotta say again, another question mark on the show, Boom, and I want to hear what you think. I know that you said you played Xcloud. I know that you said you were very impressed, and I saw what I saw, and I was also impressed to a certain extent. But I got to say, Stadia came out, and they went ahead and did a show about a month ago. Then they did a Connect or Direct, if you will, a few days before Microsoft's E3, okay? And they did a hell of a show.
They're gasping for air right now as we speak.
Price point. They showed games. They showed the controller. Microsoft, yes, I know they had the floor show for you guys. I know that. And there was a lot of footage of it. I get it. But the stage, again, they didn't show anything on stage. They didn't talk about price point. They had a whole Game Pass Ultimate thing where everything goes in there. That would have been a nice time to throw that in there.
Yeah,
they don't mention it there. Sure. My point being is I think Stadia kind of caught Microsoft off guard. It looks like they kind of threw it together. And, because why wouldn't you? You had you said it was a 2-hour show. You ended up being 20 plus minutes short. And I got to be honest with you, why wouldn't you, when your biggest competitor just did a whole show 2 days before you? You had 2 days to even get ready for it.
You know why? Because Stadia is gasping for air as we speak.
Why? Because I'm not hearing that from others.
I'm going to tell you this right now, all right? The biggest problem with Stadia is the fact that, here's a perfect example of how it's going to be a closed platform, not even with PC. Destiny 2 is only going to be playable with Stadia customers, which you can only imagine what those lobbies are going to look like. Number 1, number 2, more specifically, the $130 price point to get this thing is Xcloud. We don't know. There's not going to be a piece of hardware to get. We don't know if it's going into Ultimate Game Pass. From how it was explained to me, you can stream off of your console. You don't have to pay. Now, is there going to be a price? That's
paywall? Locally, I think.
I don't know, dude. I mean, again, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what Microsoft is doing, but I am going to tell you this. The biggest difference between Stadia's unit and what Microsoft is doing, and Phil Spencer actually said the number, by the time they will launch Xcloud in October, I believe it's the beta, it's going to start, there's going to be 4,000 games available for use on it. The developers have to do nothing, literally nothing, for games to play on that, whereas Stadia, on the other hand, has extra development to get it to run on their system. And it's a $130, entry price, which isn't not really not too expensive.
That $130 is justified in hardware, and I know a lot of people don't really see that. The Chromecast that comes with it is $50 off the shelf.
Yes,
controller for Xbox or them is both $60. Right there, you're already at just about the asking price. Then you get the entire Destiny DLC. That's $20 plus right there thrown in, and then you get 3 months of their service plus another 3 months for a buddy. That number if that number bothers you, I don't know why you're in gaming. That shouldn't bug anybody.
No, I'm not.
Now
saying,
you
I'm
make
not,
some good. That's not to you. That's rhetorical.
Right.
But I mean, what I'm saying to you, Boom, is that it felt from when I heard people that were doing, and I'm talking about the gaming media, and we all know how we could, Enrique earmuffs. We know how the gaming media sometimes. You like that? I like how sometimes, right? That was great.
That was good. That was good.
But realistically, I think sometimes they can be skewed. I think Boom agrees with me there. But I got to say, the gaming media was kind of behind Stadia. Said it performed a bit better. And that's
I only
I
saw one person say that. I think Greg Miller was the only one that said.
Yeah, Greg Miller was, as far as I know.
Said that.
And again, I got a chance, and I saw quite a few IGN people that I did not stop and talk to. By the way,
you gotta say hi to Ryan McCaffrey, man.
Come on,
quite a few of them.
Come on, Boom.
I saw people from Giant Bomb there. I saw a couple of people from who else? Kotaku there. I don't socialize with those folks.
No high five, Jason Schreier now.
No, Jason Schreier. I would not pee on the guy if he was on fire. Let's just say that. Okay. I don't like his tactics.
Friendly.
I mean, listen.
From the record.
When you go out of your way to treat people the way he does, I'm sorry, I have no love for that man, and that's fine. That's the way he does his business, and that's fine. Whatever.
Boom. Did you get a chance to try Stadia?
You know what? I did not get a chance to try Stadia because, like I said, it's LA is really big, and you're as one person.
Was it on display or in the roundabouts that you were?
No, I actually didn't even see it, to be honest with you, because E3, when you get into the Staples Center, it's immense. And you have to really strategically pick what games you want because everything is a 2-hour wait. So you're limited, of where you're going to be able to get to. I didn't see it. I'm sure that it's going to be fine. Again, the problem is that it's launching with 132 games, and if it had any maximum exclusives that you were like, oh my god, I got to get Stadia for this, I would probably go out and buy for something that was like really impressive. But nothing that I saw completely blew me away. And again, you got to remember, folks, this is new technology. With new technology, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Google, there's going to be hiccups, and it's probably not going to run efficiently for maybe for the first 6 months or so. I don't know, but I can tell you this. What I can say is that my 20 minutes that I got a chance to play Halo 5 on a wireless controller, not tethered to anything, with a phone, was an incredible experience that you have to see in person to believe. Like King, for instance, from Iron Lord's podcast, was very on the fence. He's like, I don't know. And he was raving after playing it because it's that impressive. When you're seeing this game that in your back of your mind that you could be sitting on a couch playing, and you're walking around with a wireless controller with a phone, it's really hard to kind of put together what you're actually seeing, but it's there.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you 110% there. I'm listen, let's be honest, okay? Everybody on this the podcast here, everybody in the chat, everybody listening later, to say that Xbox, I am extremely happy and rooting for Xcloud. I'm just looking at it as, I think, and you may be right, only time will tell. I think Google would have done their homework. They know what Microsoft already has in their pocket.
Oh, yes, I'm sure that they do.
Nothing's really hidden, right, as far as their 4,000 games. So, I mean, I think that my point was this. I think Google's going to play a bit dirty. I think Google's going to get exclusive deals.
Yes.
I think they're going to have, right? They're going to be like, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to. But if you come over to ours, you'll get like basically what Sony did with Destiny.
They're gonna money hat.
I agree. It's business. It's business.
Yeah, it is business. But I don't think Stadia's DOA on arrival. I know. I think that it'll have some legs. I think, obviously it doesn't have, it does have a dedicated first party. We just haven't seen anything for that from their first party yet.
And you're probably not going to for a couple of years.
Yeah. Not for quite some time, but I do think that, for me at least, the selling point with Stadia is more the features that they talked about back in March that we still haven't. Granted, we still haven't seen how those features are going to work and if they work. But you remember all the stuff they talked about with the YouTube stuff, being able to, jump into a game by watching.
Yeah, that was impressive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then joining your favorite YouTube content creator, and if that person's playing a game, you can wait in the lobby and join them in the game, or you can go back and recreate or replay a certain part of a game that your favorite content creator was playing. I think those early on will probably be the selling features for Stadia. And I think at some point, I know you need the Chromecast right now to to use Stadia. But aren't they going to implement it so you can actually?
You only need the Chromecast if you're using it on a television.
Okay, so
what you would use just your cell phone signal to use it?
You can use a cell phone
or Wi-Fi.
But if you have like a laptop or you have a PC, you're just using your internet. But I'm saying like
just use your internet, yes,
right.
So, that's reasonable. I mean, that's not. I heard 130. I mean, that's for the Founders Edition, but I mean, essentially, I think it's $11 a month or something.
Yeah, $9.99 a month,
hey,
and then there'll be
I want to shout out Yobi because he gifted me Crash Nitro Kart, which is a game I was literally about to buy.
What?
And he just gifted it to me.
Shout out to Yobi. He also hooked me up with Bloodstain. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yobi.
he hooked me up with Crash. I love that. I was getting ready to buy. I was going to buy that game tonight.
Yobi is a gentleman for sure.
Yes, man, like one of the best people in the community. So thank you. I'm
Yobi jumped me up to 4K with my television.
He did.
Yeah, he did, man. I mean, like that's one of the people, man. One of the great people. I love, man. I was looking forward to getting this game, and you hooked me up, man.
And Yobi says he's going to be at E3 next year. That's a man that I cannot wait to meet up and have a drink with.
Like there is some rumbling.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Some doings conspiring. I think Sony's going to be back.
Yeah, they're going to be back for sure.
It might be time to show. I'm not as hated as I once was. So it might be a good time.
Everyone loves crap.
Oh yeah, man. I got the bots. Some on this side, some on that side. You know what I mean? Maybe I can borrow the Pope Mobile. Who knows?
Well, speaking, let's talk games for a little bit since Crap actually brought that up. Let's talk games. Thank you. Yes, for Enrique. Yes. The great harmonica is back, folks. Yes, it is. Wonderful.
That should be your official intro music.
I love it.
Only on the last episode.
Yeah. Hey, we should get Sully to do an intro and the banjo,
right.
or the not the banjo. Excuse me, I can't play a banjo, but a harmonica. Or called a mouth harp.
Crap, it's pretty skeptical on if you can play the harmonica, so you might try.
Hey, listen, it's a little bit difficult to play because I got this microphone in front of my face, but I can actually play it pretty decent. I'm not great, but I can. There's some songs that I know on it.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. We all don't like anytime any company kind of comes down and kind of puts a barrier on you. And the rumor is that Disney's telling EA to simmer down on the violence on the new upcoming Star Wars game. And I'm not sure if I saw Enrique. I'm pretty sure he made a comment on it. I know that I don't necessarily care for that. It seems like the internet's ablaze about it. Do you think that this is something that'll end up sticking?
I'm surprised that Disney. Look at they own the Star Wars franchise. I mean, the other movies that have recently released have been kind of violent. Is there like dismemberment in this game? I didn't
see any of that in the demo.
Yeah, like I didn't see anything to lead me to believe that Disney needs to have a conversation with the developer and say, you know what, you guys might need to tone this down. Like, as far as I know, there's no dismemberment.
No,
there's no like vulgar language.
It's funny you guys bring up this because I believe So Shady, who you guys I think know, was talking about the reason why there isn't a room full of arms hanging, falling off all over the place is that Disney, what they wanted was when something big was going to happen, where someone does lose a limb or something like that, they wanted it would be impactful to the story that they were telling. But you are still impaling stormtroopers. I like what you guys saying. And again, I got into EA Play. I got into the behind the closed door press display, which was very different from what they showed everyone else. Again, we talked about this on
it's more Metroidvania
today. That it's more not Metroidvania, but it's more Metroid Prime than it is actually that closed corridor, Force Unleashed kind of a game.
Right. And, let me just say this much real quick. Shout out to Yobi in the Super Chat. He says, announcement at a future next podcast months from now, I'll be giving away an Xbox One S all-day edition. Stay tuned. Oh, my goodness.
Once again, he impresses with every move he makes.
Yeah, Unbelievable. That is awesome.
Yobi, thanks for being a part of the community. Thank you so much. Secret Sauce is overrated, says Mooch. There's this dismemberment.
It's Sade, by the way.
It is Sade. Thank you. He says, Mooch, there is dismemberment for robots and insects, but not for humans in the game. So Booming, you're saying that, like, where's Disney didn't say anything with all the failing Star Wars IPs that came out. No, nothing. Disney says nothing. All of a sudden, you've got a game that possibly could bring Star Wars back to life for so many big fans. And here we are. They come and they slap him on the wrist with a ruler. It seems like ill timing.
You know, here's the thing. I hear what people are saying about, wow, I couldn't chop off that stormtrooper's head and see it rolling around on the floor.
I don't need that.
You know, but I think that what we're going to get is going to be so amazing. I don't think anyone's really going to miss someone's arm, you know, a room full of arms on the floor. To be honest with you. I think it's a small little, and people are, and I'm saying I'm saying that people in general, when they heard this, are kind of just jumping on something to complain. Because listen, to be honest,
it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, a lot of people are still reeling from episode 8. Now, whether you loved it or hate it, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't.
It never took place. It doesn't exist.
Crap got it erased from his memory.
Right. Well, he erased it from humanity, and that's fine. It was not good. It was not a good movie. It was a Star Wars film, yes, but it certainly wasn't the one that I wanted. Hoping that episode 9 is going to be better. I think, though, what we're going to get from Respawn is something really remarkable and special.
Absolutely.
And I'm very excited because, like I said, somehow or another, Boomstick was able to. I guess these are not the droids you're looking for, EA. And I got into the press section of. I was able to get an actual time. I was like, you have a 2:00 appointment, Mr. Boomstick. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And I got in and I got a cool pin and I got a chance to sit down and hear the developer talk about the game. Like I was like someone from the press, which was amazing. But what they showed, my God,
I'm a believer.
It is really going to impress so many people.
Is there a lot of violence in the game, though? Like that's what I'm
there really. There's one instance where I thought was amazing. I'm not sure if anyone saw this or if they displayed it. There was a stormtrooper that was down the corridor. He shot the laser. He somehow stopped time, pulled the stormtrooper towards him, and put him in the laser's path. There is a lot of violence here, dude, and there's stormtroopers screaming for dear life as you cut them down.
That's not any different than like what we saw in the previous Star Wars movies.
The
more recent.
That's a part of. That's always been a part of Star Wars.
I mean, like I said, I think people are really going to be impressed with this game.
I think what Enrique was trying to say, like what you gave it is an example of something that would happen, kind of like in combat with a Jedi. But I think what
in the movies,
was like decapitations, limbs flying all over the place. I didn't see any blood or anything like that. If you notice when you were when your character was in a lightsaber battle, it would show like a molten streak, like a streak across like the characters and stuff like that. But I didn't see anything that was overly like, oh my goodness, that was just gross or anything like that to promote. Oh man, you guys really need to calm this down here.
But is that something that actually was said though? Disney came out and said this to EA, like that's because I didn't hear about it. I didn't hear of anything.
Yes.
Yeah, they said they got to tone down the violence, and I'm like, what? Like
turn the violence down.
Yeah, and did you not see Darth Vader go, like ape shit on those resistance soldiers and what was it?
Rogue
One. You remember that? I mean, didn't he cut someone's head off?
Yeah, I mean they were cutting a lot, dude. Even in episode 3 back in the day, like that was PG-13. You see Anakin burning up there on the Mustafar, like hell, that was I was like, oh, that's graphic.
He killed younglings too. And he talked about it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, he killed a whole room of them, by the way.
Yeah, younglings. It's a youngling hunt. Apparently, I don't know. That's
I guess you could wave bye to Star Wars games. Like if this is the route that it's gonna go. I mean,
no lightsabers are too violent.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta tell you. Well, this is another hot topic. It's been all over the place on Twitter, and then it kind of just got like, I wouldn't use the word debunked, but it did in a sense. GameSpot came out and had an article that they quoted the Last of Us 2 developer Naughty Dog that said they definitely will have a multiplayer. That was ridiculous. When I saw that, I didn't even do the due diligence to look up any articles. I know how popular with the community, and I got corrected by a lot of Sony guys. They said, Mooch, it's not just was popular, it is popular. People are still playing The Last of Us multiplayer. So when people were saying that they weren't going to have a multiplayer in The Last of Us 2, it just didn't sound right. And I got to tell you something. It is a beloved game mode that they have. What do you guys think about this? I mean, it supposedly has been debunked by Naughty Dog, but there was quite a stir about this.
But
it's.
Go ahead.
No, it's a very popular game mode. I haven't played it, but my understanding is actually pretty damn good.
It's outstanding. It's called Factions. It's absolutely amazing. It is. I got to be honest with you. It's the only multiplayer game that I was addicted to on the PlayStation. I played it in the PlayStation 3 era. I've literally waited. I still have it sealed. I bought it the minute it went from $50. Finally got it for $20 years ago. The minute that we get the announcement for The Last of Us 2 release date, I'm playing The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4, and then I'll be playing that straight through the multiplayer. I really truly enjoy it. I think it's one of the best team aficionado, if you will, type of like games where you need your teammates to work together and you need to know the mechanics. But I mean, I what do you guys think? I have to say, boom. I don't know if you're the Last of Us fan. The Last of Us 2.
I love The Last of Us, dude.
Did you try the multiplayer in the original?
No, you know what? Yes, I did, and it's just not for me, dude. It
wasn't your bag?
Yeah, not my bag, baby.
Did anybody else enjoy that like I did? I mean, I
loved it, bro. I loved the multiplayer. I loved the.
I heard a lot of people did really enjoy it. So
it was a lot of fun, and you know what?
It was very different, bro. It was very different, and like Mooch said earlier, you have to be very team oriented. You got to craft your shit on the fly. You feel that sense of urgency in that game.
Yes,
you
sweat. You sweat. You know, it's like,
you know what I mean? Abilities to like hear them coming. That shit is dope.
It's an outstanding outstanding game. I just thought it was interesting when that was brought up, and everybody, it was funny because it caught like wildfire. It literally caught like wildfire. Like, well, there you go. That's what happens when things get rushed out. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, there's no way they're taking that out. There's no way. And first of all, what's rushed about The Last of Us 2? Yeah. The Last of Us 1 came out in PS3.
Yep.
Who's rushing? If that's rushing, I hate to see slow motion. Right? They'd be in a frozen capsule. That being said, I mean, the other thing is that Sony is rumored to be doing what Microsoft's doing. Listen, they're all going to have their version of whether it be Game Pass, PS Now.
God, I hope that they do, dude.
Right?
I really do.
Boom, they're talking
about this on Wednesday, Boom.
Picking up there's discussion or rumor at least, and guys, go ahead and debunk it if you know otherwise, but there's rumor that they may be talking to Remedy. And you know, it's funny, Remedy's been with Microsoft unofficially all these years, and it's got, you know, I got to be honest with you, just the actual thought of them at Sony, they kind of feel more at home over there, I think. I don't know. It just seems like that type of game belongs over there for some reason. Maybe it'll be more welcomed. What do you guys think about that?
Maybe it'll get more support over
there. That's what I mean, Xbot. Yeah, I think it'll get more support.
Yeah, I don't beat around the bush, man. I just say,
no,
like,
you're 100% right. Because Alan Wake should have got more support. Quantum Break should have got more support. I think honestly,
Alan Wake should have got a sequel.
Absolutely. So I mean, is there any credibility to this?
I don't know. I mean,
I can tell you this: being that you know, Sony is notorious for their single player. Amazing, you know, titles, which is why I own a PlayStation 4. I love their exclusives. Everyone knows that.
Absolutely.
I think Remedy would be actually a perfect fit there, simply because that's their forte. And one thing with Remedy, like, you know, if you're a fan of them, like I have, they do take their time with games. Sometimes a little too much time. But with Sony, you know, they let their developers go wild. If a game is going to take 5 years to make, well, the game is going to take 5 years to make. But when that game comes out, I can guarantee you that it's going to be something special. And you can say that about a lot of Sony's first-party games. Like, again, I know you guys not a big fan of it, but, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn, still one of my favorite games this generation. Very excited to see what they do with 2. But if Remedy was one of these companies, because I don't think they're going to go on a shopping spree. I think Sony is strategic with who they pick up. And I think Remedy would be a good fit for them because of what the stories that they tell fit what Sony is selling.
Remedy and Sony put together, like, when's the next time you're going to see a Remedy game then? It might be like 10 years down the line.
It definitely.
Well, they already have their engine though, and more people. So, you know, like for me, it makes sense that they would like do something, because Remedy does single player games, Sony does single player games. It makes a lot of sense to me.
It does.
And I think it'd be beneficial to Remedy too, because you look at a game like Alan Wake, which should have gotten a sequel, but didn't for whatever reason, probably because it didn't sell well. Sony will greenlight sequels that don't sell well, or sequels to games that don't sell well. and that would be beneficial to Remedy.
Yeah, I mean, look, just look at it, right? Like Days Gone, that game was still number 2 for a second straight month on NPD, despite kind of average reviews. People are buying it, word of mouth.
Dude, I got another couple of hours of that in today. I love that game. I'm
and it's so much better now than when it first came out. Like,
absolutely,
there were some issues and stuff, and they've done such a good job. They've literally updated it time and time again. Anthem, that's how you do it. You update your game. Crazy, huh?
I'm pretty sure. That's something that we probably should have brought up. There's word that's pretty much. Is that DOA, guys? Is that dead? Yeah, not DOA, but dead.
So. They're in trouble, dude. They're in big trouble. Yeah,
and listen, I got to be honest with you. That's a sad thing because the potential of that game was tops. Yep. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if Jason Trio break it down.
Yeah, let him go into. He'll be hanging out in someone's barn waiting for the story to break.
He gave us the insight already.
Is anybody disgruntled?
Barn. Yeah, barn. He's gonna wait in the barn. As soon as someone comes out, he's gonna race it. He's running at them with the microphone.
Anyone disgruntled?
Right? There's disgruntled people everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't care. Go into anybody's work on Monday morning and yell, "Is anybody disgruntled?" Wait, I hope you got enough paper for that interview.
Oh my God.
It is what it is, guys. Outstanding show tonight. It's Friday night. We've got games to play. We've got more stuff going on over the weekend. We've got next podcast, but I'll let him talk about that. Let me go in reverse order here, folks. And I just want to say thanks to everybody. Great chat. Great freaking panel tonight. Reverse order, I'll go at Noximus. Nox, definitely great to have you here, buddy. I know you work on Friday nights, and it's a blessing to have you. Great to have your opinion. Let people know where they can find you.
Oh man, Mooch, it's always great to be here, man. You already know that, brother. Good shit tonight, bro. And man, right here on YouTube, y'all can find me in Nox We Trust. Didn't get to put an episode up this week. Probably next week I'm gonna drop one and shit, get some days off. Saturdays on the next podcast, Wednesdays Xbox Nation at the Nox on Twitter, Noximus1 on everything else, bro. All consoles, you're ready.
Appreciate that, Nox. Thank you. And then my brother Enrique Brap. It's great to have you here, dude. Awesome as usual. I wish you were more available, to be honest with you, but you got a lot of stuff going on yourself. But let people know where you do have like 10 kids. Literally.
Dude, I got to make bread.
I hear Seamus Blackley might be able to help you, man.
Yeah, you might get recruited. Yeah. Enrique, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Let people know where they can find you because you got a great show.
Oh, there it is. The harmonica. I love it.
Your outro, get the harmonica session. Pretty impressive.
Now you know my pain, Enrique. You know how hard it is to talk over that harmonica?
While I do it. He's supposed to be doing the outro. Like,
okay. So it's gonna. All right. So
it's not easy.
Find me on Twitter at Brap_podcast. And find us on YouTube, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. We podcast every Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had Matt Piscatella on this week, and boom.
Yes, it was a great show. Great show.
Yeah, great show. So Matt's a good dude. Gave us a lot of interesting insight on game streaming and what he thinks the future of game streaming is going to entail. So thank you again, Mooch. Great show, great panel, and man, I got to come back on again sometime soon, hopefully.
Yes, buddy. Yes. I was very excited when you said, he's like, Mooch, yes, let's do this. I'm like, great.
It was a yes right away, too. It wasn't like, I want to get back to you.
Well, hey, listen, life finds a way.
It does.
So it certainly does, right? Great to have you, Enrique. Thank you so much. Then I've got Xbot448, who's sometimes confused for 844. Xbot, what the hell you got going on this weekend?
Never confused for
844. Never. That's correct.
Guys, it is the Gamers Weekend. Starts every Friday, and it rolls right over into Saturday with the next podcast. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on my channel, Xbot448. Definitely go in, check it out, because, down the line, Yobi is giving away an Xbox One Stadia edition on that show. Huge shout out to Yobi. But guys, like I said, the channel, Xbot448, the show is the next podcast. Gaming news with gameplay. I really think you guys will enjoy it. So come down, check it out.
Appreciate that, Xbot. Thank you. And then again, I do want to reiterate to everybody again, Boom won't be here weekly, but we will have Boom on regularly enough.
Absolutely, sure.
And Boom, let people know where they can find you. And it has been an outstanding 2-year run. I think we have a slogan, a motto, me and Crap. We say the show must go on.
That is absolutely correct.
And you do that on your channel.
You know what? You guys will continue to up the numbers and who watches, and it's going to be as great as it's always been. yeah, listen, it's been an amazing 24 months. It's, again, you opened the door for me to learn what it was how to podcast, how to meet people from the community, and I just took the ball and I ran with it, and I appreciate all of the guidance. It's been a blast. Listen, if you're interested, check out the Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube. 3 live shows weekly. I throw some videos in every now and again, but I do enjoy being behind the microphone and doing it live. And there's something for everyone, regardless of what flag you fly, PlayStation, Xbox, a Nintendo Switch, or all 3 like me. You're going to find something you like. It's a lot of fun. The chat is probably the friendliest chat in and on YouTube, because everyone just comes there to hang out, and it's policed by some of the best modders that are in the within the community. And on Twitter, listen, at Mr. Boomstick XL, hit me up, talk to me. The DM is open. I talk with everyone, and it's been amazing, dude.
Yep, and like I say, Boom, it's just you'll still be on, but we're going to get you on sporadically so you can enjoy some time with the missus. Yes. But great to have you here these 24 months. Awesome stuff. And then last but certainly not least, my M&C show co-host, a Crap Gamer. Crap, what you got going on this weekend?
Just probably some videos and stuff. I mean, it's a slower time. I'll probably still do a video a day or something. So make sure you guys check that out. And we got M&C Sunday, so that's good too.
It'd be great.
Could be some particular point. We had a big crowd starting at noon or whatever the hell that was.
We might have to do that again. Yes. Well, with the harmonica playing, let me say thank you again to Yobi. Thank you for the game. Thank you for everything you do, buddy.
Yes.
Thanks to Lethal Papa for modding. Outstanding chat. Great panel. We'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And it's not easy to talk over a harmonica. Take it from this guy. We'll see you next week.